Welcome back, traders. This is Ryan with another market preview. I'm still in Thailand right now. I am in Koh Samui. This should be my last weekend in Thailand, so next weekend I will be back and we will have audio back to normal. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in the chart for this week's preview. Starting off with the dollar index on the weekly chart, I still have my eyes on these relative highs up here as our weekly draw on liquidity. Also, we do have relative highs above here as well. The last 2 weeks, we've been working in this weekly fair value gap, and you can see the bodies lining up pretty well with the low of that fair value gap. We can also see that price has dipped down into this order block and has moved away from it. So if I am still going to keep my bullish stance on the dollar index, I want to see price start trading above this fair value gap, and I'll be looking for the relative highs up here and up here as well. But there is a potential for price to continue moving down lower. If we see price coming to take out this low right here, there is a fair value gap and an order block. But in order for this to continue being bullish, I do not want to see this order block right here get disrespected. So here I'm going to mark out the mean threshold of that weekly order block. Now zooming into the daily, you can see that the story doesn't really change. We are working in this range right here, redoing some of these imbalances. We can see that price did come down to rebalance this fair value gap on the daily and then has rallied away from it. Then again, worked into this small fair value gap, but pretty much from this leg down here up to this high, we've pretty much been working in around equilibrium. So we just gotta wait and see for price to show us what we gotta do. But I am still keeping my eyes up on these relative highs above here. Now, should we start taking this one down, I could start changing my mind, but really I want to wait until that weekly order block gets disrespected before I shift my bias to a bearish bias. Here's S&P on the weekly, and you can see that price has been working into this weekly order block right here with the mean threshold right here. And also we have been going back into inverted fair value gap. So as long as these still hold as resistance, I'll be looking for lower prices should we start moving away from this order block. So if price starts trading lower below this weekly order block low, then I'll be looking for my lower targets here, here, and back into this order block right here. Here's S&P on the daily for a little bit more detail. If I'm going to maintain my bearish bias, I want to see price come down and rebalance all these inefficiencies right here and disrespect this order block. So similar to the dollar index, the ES could go both ways. I am leaning towards the more bearish side. I want to see a market structure shift below this low before I can start aiming for my lower targets. But there is still a possibility that it can come up and take out the highs up here. So I want to be a little conservative with all my trades until I get confirmation of my bias. Here's Nasdaq on the weekly, and we see that price has been rallying up into this fair value gap right here. We have the mean threshold drawn out and it lines up with some other arrays, but I'm still keeping my eye on the low here and the low here for a bearish bias. But let's go down into the daily chart to get more detail. Here we are on the daily. You can see that price has been going up into that weekly order block, but it also went up into this daily order block with the mean threshold drawn out right here. And there was an old fair value gap. So now I want to see this as an inverted fair value gap to hold price down. So all of these arrays here, I want to see it hold price down. I want to see price trade below the weekly order block low right here to rebalance this inefficiency and to disrespect this order block. If I see this order block close below the mean threshold here, if price closes below the mean threshold on this order block, then I'll be looking for my lower targets here and back down over here into that order block. So that's it for me this week. I'm going to try and be conservative and neutral, even though I am leaning bearish on the indices. I just want to wait and give price action the time it needs in order for it to give me my confirmation on my bias before I put more risk on the table. But next week, I will be back to my normal situation and I will start working again on those proper videos for you guys. But until next time, guys, safe trading.